And I'm your host of ColorPlay Live 3 days a week, Tuesdays and Fridays at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm here on Saturdays at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I'm looking to see who's here. Looks like Sherry's here. Oh, man, I don't know how the rest of you guys had your weekend, but some people had a whole lot of grandkids on their hands this weekend, and they really needed an extra day to get some rest after the excitement, right? I was talking to one of you guys this morning about having all the grandkids over, so I know it's a challenge. Hi, Dee. Thank you for your kind words about that one piece. Dee wants to buy or purchase one of the pieces I did with the autumn leaf, which is really an honor, man. I mean, I sold a couple pieces at the local gallery here, but I don't really know quite how to ship everything. Getting my wear on. Now, I already have my wheel here set with my interferences, but I want to show you what we did last week, some of the results, right? And I had a couple people ask me what I wear in my arms. They've seen me wear these things. I've known two artists that use these to protect their arms and their clothes. And my Android just went off. I can't see you guys talking anymore. That's not going to be fun. So what you do is you slip it right over your glove. There's a little finger, and it goes all the way up the arm. Really, really handy if you're working with epoxy, okay? They do have plastic arm guards that they offer for manufacturers when people are working in production and need to protect their arms or the clothes that they're wearing with these. But I know mixed media artists years ago that use these, and then Cindy Porter uses these all the time when she's doing her watercolors. Something just happened to the Android. So, hey, Audra. Give me a second to get this thing logged back in because it just kicked me out and I can't see anybody except what's flipping right across my phone, and that's not going to be efficient. I'm not going to be able to go back and read comments. Whose birthday? Wait a minute. Happy birthday. Whose birthday is it? Audra! Happy birthday, Audra. It's such a pleasure to have you here. Woohoo! That's pretty awesome. I'm gonna get my little tablet put back here so I can get this out of the way and read your comments. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Audra. Happy birthday to you and many more. Woo, woo, woo. Have a beautiful, colorful birthday. Yes. Someone buy that girl some cake and ice cream, homemade ice cream if you can get it. Okay, so, boy, last week was pretty eventful. For me, I had a breakthrough on my own personal mix for doing the bloom swipes. I was pretty excited. On Saturday, we did a little teaser with 4 of the pastel colors coming in set 3. We're going to play with them a little bit today. I meant to have another teaser ready for you guys today, but I spent about 6 to 7 hours yesterday getting everybody's gift cards done and sent out to them. If you purchased a gift card and you didn't get a confirmation email with your code, please let me know, because I got everybody caught up yesterday, and we should be raring to go this week. Boy, we got the whole gangs here. We got Sharon McKay, we got Sparkle here, Marjorie Barnes is here, Janelle is here, Jennifer B is here, Hope is here. Hope, how is Arlo, your grandson? Are you still there taking care of him? Just curious. If you're still having to take care of Arlo, she just became a grandma, everybody. Very, very, very exciting. Okay, so I've peeled off most of the paint on my spinner, but it does kind of make an ugly little palette to put these pieces on. So I'm going to start with the one we did with the kiwi green. And some people saw this. What's crazy about this piece is I didn't use any chameleon on it, yet one way it looks green, right? But when you start to turn it, the interference violet and the interference blue and all that interference pops. And down here in this center section where the dark colors are, I can't wait to resin these things. I'm gonna have to just pick a resin and do them all. This almost looks like a water lily in a garden, but it really turned out interesting. And this is what kind of started me on the journey of wanting to use all those interferences on the base. The same day we did this piece, same thing. You can see how that interference gold and interference violet really creates a lot of light play. And so I'm loving what the interference is doing where it's kind of even circling the cells. I know you guys will get a better effect to look at this when they're resined. This is the one I almost thought I should scrape and I left it alone. I do like that bottom area where I got those really super light pastel cells. And what's interesting is how sparkly that new pink is in the, we haven't named it yet. Everybody wants me to call it Barbalicious or something sort of similar that has a Barbie overtone to it. Okay, but that one pink has such a pretty sparkle to it, but I didn't do anything to this. This might be just a really nice little soft oceany type of pour. Maybe I can use this as a background to something. And it doesn't necessarily have to be covered with cells, but it turned out okay. D here is coming up, the color schemes you had asked me about. Let me get these boards moved around. Now, this softened quite a bit, and yet, if you really look up close, you can still see all those cells that are gonna pop as soon as we get some epoxy on the top of this thing. It's pretty subtle. The sides are real subtle, and yet I know that all this interference, even on the sides, is gonna show up. I do like how that gold played in there with that interference blue. This one turned out real subtle, a whole lot of brown. Now this is the other one. Yeah, these is the ones we did last week. This is the other one, and I did a short on this one already. I wasn't so sure about this, but I think this is really super pretty. I love the definition of the cells. I love how the colors popped out, that little bit of blue that's coming up through the center of these, right? And how that the white underneath is what's making part of that gold look so light to dark. So I'm liking what happened here. And even those beautiful little pastel cells in the corner, they're real interesting how they came out. And then we have the one I keep calling the giant Easter egg, which that Aztec yellow turned the golden maple so yellow it made it green. But this is completely dry, and that gold is still sparkling like crazy. It didn't really soften. This one's gonna be gorgeous. See if I can get the camera back further. This is gonna be really gorgeous when it gets resined. And you can see all those pastel colors from this new set that's coming out that we used. You can see the that pale cobalt aqua. We can't call it that because we already have a cobalt aqua. You can see that hot pink in here. You can see the subtly, you can see that periwinkle color, and you can see that pretty blue in here of those four colors. I think this turned out really stunning. I love even the edges, those crazy edges. At first it looked really, really green because and you can see a green popped up where the blue and the yellow and that gold made a green. But I'm not hating it. I'm liking the dried results. Hopefully by having all these canvases over here to the left of me, Harley won't try to jump up. We'll see. Okay, so I did clean my spinner off a little bit. Those of you guys that have seen me do this before, I'm apologizing in advance. I'm making sure that my interferences keep topped off because I'm going to use them in today's piece. Now, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do something on the camera. I'm going to try to, hi there, Karen. How you doing, honey? I'm going to try, we'll see if I can walk and chew gum at the same time. So while I'm measuring my interferences in the cups, I might look a little distracted. I'm going to tell you a little story about the first time I tried to do a Dutch pour. Now, the Dutch pour, first person to coin that term was Rinske Douna. If you've never seen her channel, it's Rinske Douna last name. And when she originally started with the Dutch pour, it was just Amsterdam paint and water. Oh, she's amazing. She's branched out. She's got all kinds of other techniques and she's got classes. But when she launched, imagine this beautiful blonde girl in the Netherlands and this perfect white room that she was painting in. And I'll never forget the first video. She, by the way, is a branding expert as a living. That is her profession. So when she launched her channel, she even had photos of prints and photos of them up on the wall. Making green, black, you use, John. Color to Go has a great black. Okay, somebody's asking about a black. So she had even her artwork up on the wall, photos of it. Very first video, when she launched, she looked like an established artist from the Netherlands with beautiful artwork you could buy in her first video. But she was using Amsterdam titanium white and water on her base, just water, and Amsterdam paint and water for her color. Now, we'll see how well this lands. The original paint mixing, different colors, different pigments can accept different water. So if you go back and watch her original videos, she wasn't using a recipe that said, I'm using 1 cup of this and 1 cup of this, and they're all the same. You'll see her actually put a little bit more water in maybe the red, but a little bit less water in the blue, right? Because pigments can receive and absorb water at varying degrees. And so that was the only thing she did, use Amsterdam titanium white and water on her base and water in all of her color. Now, we learned when the bloom technique came out, again, I don't mean to look distracted, I'm still mixing, I'm putting some interferences in these cups here so we can do 2 things at once. It's like you're sitting in my living room and I'm talking to you while I'm mixing these. So, yeah, she just used the water. Now, later on, when the bloom technique came out, people did discover, and I'm not going to guarantee this is at 100%, but they did discover there was a high average of just using Amsterdam titanium white and water, and you would still get some sort of cell or bloom effect because it's something about that white. I can't guarantee any other white would do that, but Amsterdam does that. Well, there is Michael Fly. I just finished doing the blue. Yeah, I'm just trying, instead of you seeing me put iGold in a cup that already has iGold, which is the one I'm doing right now. So when I got excited about this technique, I just had to do it, right? I mean, how many of you see something that someone does on camera, go out and buy everything to do it? Oh, you see Mike around me every time? No surprise. and then come home and it not work. And how many times, I normally, yeah, you don't see my face with while I'm sitting here doing, you're right, you don't normally see that view. Okay, so this is the green, I gotta get the green in. So I got so excited, I went, well, I can do that. I just need to thin the paint down. Yeah, right. And blow it. Now, I had recently got this thing on Amazon. It was meant to clean out like your keyboard. By the way, Jasmine's got a little cough. I'm worried about her. If you hear her in the background, she's got a little cough. So Jasmine's gonna go to the vet here in the next couple days. She's not acting sick or anyway, but she's just got a little cough. So anyway, I had bought this thing. It looks like the pitcher that sits on the table when you go to IHOP. That's your coffee. Coffee is put in there, right? It's a little black pitcher with a spout and a handle. But it blew air, okay? And I had all my stuff mixed up, all my paint ready, go to blow my Dutch pour. Can anybody guess what happened? The entire table was blown off. The table was still standing, but everything on the table, all the paint cups, everything, even the canvas lifted up. Because the air in that thing was so darn strong, I blew everything off the table. Everything off the table. So that was my last attempt at a Dutch pour. I don't know how you guys would have reacted to that. I'm now putting the varnish in the cups. If you're wondering why I'm not looking at you, I'm making sure there's ample varnish in my interference. All I'm doing is adding interference gold and sparkle gold, interference red, sparkle red. I'm just beefing up my interferences here so we have them to play with. Are you kidding? Doing the exact same thing with the paints and water. Yeah, I mean, everything blew off. I mean, I couldn't help but laugh, okay? You kind of have to laugh at yourself. And then I'm like, okay, well, that didn't work. Obviously, I'm not made for the Dutch pour. But really, is it fair to the technique to give up after once? That's like Michelle DePorto, which I don't think she's in here yet today, telling me a story that she went to Michael's, got all her paint, was ready to do exactly what the YouTube artist did. And when it didn't look like it, boom, she gave it up, put it in a drawer and said, I guess this isn't for me. She gave up. And how many of us do that? Now, I'm going to do a little twist today. I may or may not be successful. I have not tried the Dutch pour since then. And now I'm putting the acrylic in these cups. Lots of reasons. I'm busy, and I'm busy running a company. But I also, I got lots of different blowers, as I'm sure you guys did. Can I just say, take a little call from the people here? How many of you own more than one blow dryer? And I don't mean heat gun for resin. I mean blow dryer for blowing paint. How many you got in your stash, honestly? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, is the mica really flying around me now? Cool, I'm mixing up one of the colors right here. I'm also trying to make them a little bit thinner because the trick with the Dutch pour is a thinner consistency. Jennifer says she has 3. Just 1. Hope has 4. Terry Lechner has 6. Sparkle has 6. Sherry Ellis has 5. Yeah, we get them, then we think they're going to be the right one, and then it isn't exactly the right one, and then I see somebody else use another one and say, oh, that's why I need that, right? That's why I need that blower. Or I've seen Tammy Anderson use her blower she calls Flow, and then she used another blow dryer she has another name for. You gave up. Well, Catherine, we're not going to give up. Let's especially since I get to experiment in front of you guys. And people tell me on this group that you're an easy audience. I don't know if that's true, but you're willing to put up with my, I'm mixing the green right now, with the mistakes, right? You're willing to watch me grow in front of you. You know, I'm thrilled with the bloom swipe. I know that consistency's down. It's drying beautifully. I'm not getting any cracks. Now, one thing I will repeat that I'm using that is the base is not a eggshell white house paint. Eggshell white house paint is a latex. I am using the Bare Satin White that you go to the hardware store department and let them tint. It's the one they want to tint for you, okay? It's an enamel base. It's got no primer and it's got no fast drying agent. So the reason why I think these are drying so beautifully is we're using similar bases. The vivid enamel is an enamel. And so the white is an enamel. The deep base is enamel. The trick to the whole bloom thing and bloom swipe and any good swipes, if you're going to use cell activator, is that key component, which is that enamel. So for me, if I'm using a latex white on the base, they're going to dry at different rates. And I've seen that happen where the paint seems to crater in because there's areas that dry quicker than not. And yet on these pieces, they're sitting right next to me, there was nothing that cratered in. So I used an enamel base and I'm using the enamel white, the enamel top. So I think I believe that's one reason why we're getting such a smooth look on these when they dry. So what I'm going to try to do, I have some of my Bare white here. It's probably a little bit thick for a Dutch pour, a little bit. I'm going to pour a little bit off in a cup, hopefully enough just to cover my piece. I have a little 8-inch round. When Rinska first launched, her pieces were like 8 and 10 inches. So I've got a test piece, just a little 8-inch round test piece here. I have a 12 by 12 if it's successful that we can try to blow out. I'm not going to try to do the little snake thing that everybody does, because I think when you're learning to Dutch pour and you're just trying to blow each direction, too many of them look like a big, long, extended snake, right? Some of them are gorgeous and some of them are really not that pretty. And I think more of it's the composition than the color or the paint that they're using. It's a composition thing. And I think it's with everything. You know, I struggle with composition and working in my resin, right? So, all right, so I've got my interferences mixed, so we got room to actually do some colors. So yeah, I've got my red and my blue and my gold and a green and a violet, all prepped and ready. I've got some leftover paints over here, but I want to custom mix some colors. Now, the one I didn't touch up yet is that golden maple. Last time, I meant to only use 1 drop of the Aztec gold, and even though I scooped up as much as I could out of it, this turned really, 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 really orangey yellow. So what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do, is kind of make a bigger batch of golden maple and not add any more yellow, and see if it kind of tones down this yellow in here, because I want to be able to have a gold in my piece. Gosh, that's rich. Looks like that strange kind of a ochre-y yellow. It sure turned out pretty in my Easter egg piece, but still a little bit yellow. If it hits something else, it could possibly go too green. So I'm going to lighten it up just by adding more of the golden maple. And so now I made a fresh batch of this paint mix. I had someone call me the other day and want to know the mix. This is 1 heaping tablespoon of heavy gel medium. This morning I used the Nova Gel. So big heaping tablespoon to this cup. This is a 17-ounce honey jar. And then I filled it with polypore and mixed it up. So that's what today's paint base is. The reason for the heavy gel medium is we're not using paints that already have a thickener in them. We're using pigments, right? I don't see any thickener in the jar, do you? Right? So we got to add something to it that turns it into a clear paint first, but at the same time also have a mix that'll bloom. So I've come up with this little custom mix of that tablespoon filled up with, you can use enamel, you can use deep base, you can use polypore. As long as you're sticking to an enamel-based material, it'll be similar to me. And then the varnish is actually squeezed into the pigment when it's done. I'm not wasting the varnish by putting it in my cup. And in the case of this particular one, trying to do the Dutch pour, instead of 1/3 of the varnish and 2/3 of the paint base, I have to have it thinner, right? So this will be a heavy varnish mix because we want it to blow. Let's hope. Let's hope this works. That's all I can say. I've decided to be brave today. Now that's a little bit toned down, is not quite as yellow. I used fluid art. What's fluid art? You mean, art fluid. Yeah, I'm not going to sit and recommend that on camera because the art fluid has a chemical in it that can react to a lot of different paints. I know when it hits something with Floetrol, it can create fractals. So I'm thrilled it's working for you, Catherine. But no, I'm not adding any water. No water. Janelle asked a good question. I'm not doing any water in this. I'm just going to make my paints nice and thin. And then to thin down my bear, and I might as well find a cup to do that now. Darn it, I don't know if I got a really big cup over here to do this in. Shoot. Well, I can probably get away with it in one of these cups. I'm going to use GAC 800. Liquitex pouring medium is normally my go-to, but GAC 800 has just a little bit more of an acrylic binder in it than the Liquitex pouring medium. Yeah, a big old bottle of golden. So what I'm going to do is just add, oh great, the cups are stuck together. That ever happened to you? Drives me crazy when that happens. I don't like the cups stuck together. Come on, baby. Well, what the heck? I guess I'll have to do it later. For the purpose of the camera, you're going to see double measurements on here. But if I'm going to fill this thing up to, let's say, 6-7 ounce mark, I'm going to put 1 ounce of the GAC 800 in here. So it's almost 2 ounces. It's hard. I'm sorry the cup's inside of the cup. Let's see if this helps. I just want to thin it down. If I add water, then it changes the chemistry, Janelle. And I'm not going to put water in any of my paints. I want them to dry really smooth and shiny. So this is the Bear Satin White. I'm going to just mix some of this off. I can always add more, but I can't take it away if I put too much in. So let's get a bigger mixing stick. Let's see if this looks like the consistency of a Dutch pour base coat. Yeah, I think I'm going to add some more GAC. I'm going to use that much white. You can always add more later. Put this over here. Add a tiny bit more of that GAC. I know, no water. I am not a pro. I'm just going on basic chemistry, what my brain's telling me to do. I'm gonna add a little more gack to that because I want it to flow as if I had done that. Varnish would be the other option to make sure they dry the same, exactly identical. But we know how expensive the varnish is. There we go. That's a little bit thinner. And then I'm gonna do a circle around it with the cell activator. So we got our white made. Now let's mix up some colors. A lot of people asked me about the Tempted Tulip last week. They really were wanting to know what that color was. I'm gonna play with that again. I had some other colors over here I thought I could use up, but not enough of them. Because in those last swipes I did the Easter egg one, I was using up all of that color, right? I did find a cell activator here that might come in handy. We'll see. So I'm gonna do something with the brand new Purely Pigment colors. And we're also going to do something with, this is a color called Spicy Apricot, Marigold, and the Tempted Tulip. Again, so many comments on the Tempted Tulip over the weekend. Someone wanted to see us mix that again. Hey there, Michelle. How you doing, darling? Michelle D is in the house. Oh no, there's a little bump in my paper. That's gonna drive me nuts. I have some OCD issues, if you guys haven't noticed. Little things that bug me, like if it's tidy or not. Now the Spicy Apricot, big chunks. It's kind of a warm autumny, orangey brown. This is our Marigold. Whew, yeah, there's pigments flying everywhere now. That little jar went all over my hand. Yes. The Tempted Tulip. I had to use a Marigold because Sherry Ellis is in the house and she loves orange. And of course, if Princess Jasmina comes in, Princess Jasmina's mommy, I should say, let me clarify, she's a big pink girl. So try to make some people happy in the room. I know the orange and the brown feels autumn, but we'll add some of these pale colors in here and spice things up. No pun intended. I know this color will pair very well with these. And I know this color is gonna go gorgeous with them. I don't know if I wanna use the blue. I don't wanna turn this into a rainbow thing. It's already getting rainbow. This may have its place. We'll see. And this, I love that periwinkle color. But right now we know these two. We know the turquoise and this Barbalicious pink there. Wants to call this Barbalicious. Yeah, I don't think we can use Barbie, but we can, do some kind of spin-off off it. It is a beautiful, beautiful, vibrant pink. This is in set 3. Still being named. I'm going to do a whole drop. Let me do 2 drops in there because I ended up putting 2 in the final thing, make it a little brighter. And then we can't call this Cobalt Aqua because we already have one, but this is basically, that's what the color is in a pure form. Kathleen McGee, which by the way, she's in bed sick today. She's the one that inspired this. She said this was the color she used more in her Vivid Intense over and over again. She'd always run out. I said, well, then I need to make that in a pure color for everybody. She's sick in bed. If anybody knows Kathleen, go wish her well. I think Easter just was a little bit too much for her, and I hope she's on the mend. She's normally in here with us, rocking and rolling. Yeah, everybody loves turquoise. It makes a great cell activator, right? It's going to make a great everything. And it goes with so much. What? That she's sick? Well, you know, she caught something. She's just down for the count. As busy as she is, it kind of is sad for her. That girl is always making something. She's so busy, but look at how neon, look how bright this is. Okay, we're gonna sparkle these two up. Gotta have a little sparkle, sparkle. Let's decide what we're gonna put in these things. I know I can get away with Morai Gold in this. I know the violet, if I play it straight on this, it'll be really, really pretty. But if I show you what it looks like in interference blue, don't hate me, because I think you might actually like it in the blue. Last time I mixed up this color, I just put violet diamond and violet pink. And if I have to make up two of these, I will, because I think you should see what this looks like with the blue. That is such an incredibly beautiful color. So much translucency. Oh, congratulations, Carrot. Thank you so much for buying your gift card. Appreciate it. Now, violet on violet to me is what I say, it's a Leslie day. Oh, thank you. Violet on violet would have been playing it straight, but I wanted you to see how shifty this becomes when I put the interference blue in this. Completely makes that color look different. Let's add a tiny bit of, let's see if I can find some blue diamond in my box. Here's some gold. There's the blue diamond. Let's add some blue diamond. You got two today? You didn't know what she wanted? You're such a sweet girl getting stuff for your mom. What a sweetheart. You know, Mother's Day's coming, everybody. I realize we're only in April, but bam, before we know it, it's going to be May, whatever that first week of May is. So maybe we just make a gift for Mom. Make her something really pretty she can hang on her wall, or buy her a gift card if she paints. Now, adding that little bit of diamond certainly going to make this pretty. Okay, now last time I put green in this time I'm going to put blue in this. Same thing. Let's add some interference blue. That way you can show you from a couple different perspectives how the mica changes the way the color looks. So this is interference blue. You want to turn the volume down? Oh, you did turn up the volume so you could hear us because of the rain. Wow. That's pretty amazing, guys. I love the rain, to be honest. I love, 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 love rain. Okay. Caribbean waters. Well, we have a Caribbean mist in the primary elements. But this really is a Caribbean water style color. It's definitely a great name for that. I'm taking suggestions, so don't be shy about them. You know what? I'm going to do something completely unexpected for you guys. I'm going to put some violet in the spicy apricot. I actually see a little bit of violet in the powder, that dry powder. I see little specks of violet sparkling in there. So I'm going to add some sparkle violet to my spicy apricot. And I'm going to add some sparkle red to our marigold. And since our tinted tulip, it actually looks like it's got a blue cast into it, I'm going to add some violet to it. Just trying to beef all this stuff up so we got extra, 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 extra blingy. Want everything extra blingy when we're playing with these. But if I get the interferences, this is a lot faster way to get this stuff mixed. There we go. Lots of violet. By putting that much violet in there, actually, I should have shown you another way to do it. If you ever want to lighten a color, mix the interference first. I can do that right now. I'll make another one so I can show you. Let's say I really love Tempted Tulip, but I think Tempted Tulip is a little bit dark, right? Here's your little lesson today. So I'm going to mix up some interference violet, some sparkle violet. You could go sparkle blue. It doesn't have to be all pure, same color on color on color. And to make this really fun, I'll grab the diamond violet. Here, the violet diamond, right? Okay. All right, so, and I don't think I've actually done this little exercise with you guys. So I can't live without these interferences, not just to make them sparkly, but so I can lighten the shade of color that I'm working on. I have the ability to change the colors any way I want to. So how I would do it, instead of taking this color, I think the instinct for people when they're making a lighter color, they'll take some blue and add white, add more white, add more white, add more white. Next thing you know, you got a bottle and a half of white you don't need. When in fact, if they just taken a little bit of white paint and kept adding a few drops of the blue, they would have gotten to the value of blue they were looking for. Same thing in this instance. Instead of continuing to add more interference to lighten this to the value that I want, of course, I put a lot of it in there. I'm going to start with the varnish. I can customize my Tempted Tulip. Now this is really juicy, only because I know we're going to make a bunch of this with that polypore in there. Okay, so here's your interference. And I want only a variation of the Tempted Tulip. Pretty color, but I think it's a little bit rich. Maybe I want something monochromatic. I don't want the same color, but 4 different shades of it, okay? I'm going to start with my 32nd. Actually, you can start with your 64th of a teaspoon, the tiniest bit. Pick up a grain of color and pop it in there. Look how pretty that is. Look how gorgeous that is. I just made a lighter shade of the Tempted Tulip. When the regular Tempted Tulip, when I put a whole dollop of it in and added some interference to it, it's just going to make that darker color more sparkly. But it's not really going to lighten it that much because I have so much Tempted Tulip in the cup. That's your little exercise for the day. So to make a lighter value, mix just the interference first and then put a few grains of the color in, and you can get, like to say, do a whole monochromatic piece, but you start with the mica first so you can get a lighter value. So I'm going to add a little bit of the paint base we got in here. It's a polypore mixed with that gel medium. And if Princess Jasmina's mom was in here, this is totally her color. She loves that pastel baby pink. It's kind of her jam. Where there's that Tempted Tulip mixed up night and day. So let's get these other ones mixed. This one I've already put the varnish in. This is the color from the set. I guess we're going to be playing with some pinks today. God, that really looks like bubble gum. And this one I put interference blue in. Wow. That's crazy. This is that aqua color with some of the interference blue in there. Because last time I used the green, so this time I'm adding blue. And it's going to make this color lean more towards a blue turquoise instead of a green turquoise because I have the paint base in there, because I have the interference in there, the blue interference. Uh-oh, I got a little pink in there. That's okay. My stick had a little pink. Very pastel-y. Very, very pastel-y. This is definitely looks like a robin's egg blue. Okay, the darker colors, which I know these are really going to pop in our piece. They are not pastel. This is the spicy apricot with some sparkle violet in it. Look at that. Look at those colors as it's mixing. Look at that violet go into the spicy apricot. And there's actually purple in the spicy apricot. I can see the violet in the spicy apricot anyway, so it's going to be really gorgeous. Hey, Casey's here. Did I just see someone say hi to Casey? Casey's in the house. This is the marigold mixed with the red. The marigold is definitely that bright marigold orange. And I'm hoping I'm not going crazy here with this varnish mix thing that I'm doing. I'm just trying to use the varnish as a way to thin down my paint enough, so it's basically almost 50-50, to get them in Dutch pour consistency. Let's see if this works. At least I get to experiment on camera and you don't have to worry about it, right? Ha, 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 ha. I think I have my cups on the wrong side because in the case of a Dutch pour, I got to have my right hand handy to use that gun. So the blow dryer. Well, this almost, boy, that spicy apricot really went, wow, look at the pink in that there. Now you can really see all the violet sparkle in that as it turns. And then the marigold, very, very orange. This is for you, Sherry. Hi. Someone from Canada is here. Who's visiting us from Canada? I just saw when someone come across my phone from Canada. Who is that? Jean? For some reason my live chat's not working on my phone, on my, what is going on with my thingy? My little thingy's not working. It's froze up. All right, I guess it's not froze up now. But I still got to be able to see what you guys are saying, right? It was locked up for a minute. I want to make sure that I can say hi to everybody. So we've got a Jean here from Canada. All right, so we've got our very strange golden maple. And by the way, that was named after the Canadians' golden maple in honor. And now we have a Canadian watching us today. I am in love with how much violet's in that. Okay. And then we've got the pink from the set, that Barbalicious pink. We have the eggshell blue. We have the Tempted Tulip, 2 shades of Tempted Tulip. And then I've got my interferences here. So, see how we're going to get this work. I'm going to have to move the camera up. Cell activator. I've got white cell activator that I'll blow over, and I got a little drizzle of this peach, even though I don't think it's going to probably accent that well. I got so many pinks, but I might use a little drizzle of this. I don't have much of the blue cell activator left. We might have to make more if we want some turquoise cell activator in the next one. So here is my test of the Dutch pour. Let's see if this works. All right, let's get the camera up. Get this camera up and over so you guys can see what I'm doing. Get that right over the top of the canvas. Hope this works. I've got a real small piece here. Now, normally people don't spin out the Dutch pour, but I'm going to take exception. Why can't I spin out my Dutch pour? There's no reason why once I blow it back and forth, I can't let gravity pull some of that color out for me, right? So if I have the tool, sorry, I want to get everything out of the way. I'm going to try to use it. Okay, so here's this special white. This is a bare satin enamel. Mixed with GAC. My instinct's to spread it. I know I put a lot of paint on this little itty bitty canvas, so first right off the bat, I feel like I put too much paint on. Now, in a Dutch pour, they will do this whole puddle line thing. I'm just kind of decide what to put down first. I think I'm going to start with a little bit of the marigold. I'm going to start with and this is really thin. Someone may correct me and tell me this is way too thin for a Dutch pour. Again, first attempt ever trying to do this since I blew everything off my table that time. I got really messy on that one. Whew. Come on, Les. Be more careful. Okay. And then since some of the color went into my cup here, I'm going to actually put some of that interference in there. Then let's add some of this Barbie pink. Again, this is feeling way too thin to me, but maybe you guys think it looks right. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to use them all. I'm just going to add one more color. I'll use this Tinted Tulip that everybody liked so much in the last one. Now, what I was going to do is take some of my white cell activator, and I'm going to use that as a ring around my thing. I'm cheating. This is my way of blowing cell activator over the top of the color and then back out, right? So I know this is a cheat. Let's see if it works. I mean, I've seen Rinska blow the white over her piece and back. Get all this color out of the way. Okay, I don't know. All right, well, I now know you guys can see it. I'm sitting down. Need to get off my feet to do this, I think. I don't know. I'm nervous. I shouldn't do this to myself, but I get nervous when I'm trying something new I haven't tried, so you guys bear with me. I have my gun, one of the guns. Hey, happy birthday. Yeah, Audra's birthday is today. So I have one of the guns. It's got a high cool. And then it's got the low. I have no idea what I did or if I even did it right, but oh, my paper's grabbing on that. I had this spinning beautifully today. So if I had to judge what I've done so far, I think there's a little bit too much paint on here. I actually don't mind just having a partial cell thing activity happening. I do like what the spinning does, because if I had to be trusted to tilt this thing, now, what if I wanted to just get a little something here, do some kind of random swipey-dipey thing. Again, I know it's not meant, well, maybe I should be blowing and not doing this. Part of me wants to do this. Let that, oh, I'm loving what that's doing right there. Actually, let that develop. Little bit of white there. And I'm just going to skid that right across. Again, I think my paint's a little bit thin. And I don't know if this really translates as a Dutch pour per se. I don't have a creme brulee torch, but I have a big torch, so any cells are going to pop from the heat, they will. I'll be curious to see how this dries, because if that bare 800 mixed with the GAC dries really smooth with this paint, that'll make me happy. I think for this little itty bitty canvas, I had way too much paint on there. Take a look at everything that's going around these edges, right? But it does look pretty interesting. Oh, she's here. Princess Jasmina's mama's here. We know how much she loves her pink. We have pink for her, orange for Sherry Ellis in the room, turquoise for all the turquoise lovers. I'm actually going to just let this dry as it is and see how it dries, because it's the first time doing this combination of paint, right? See what this dries like. So far, so good. I mean, chemistry-wise, it should work, because we're not using any water. We're not using anything that's not compatible with each other. And while this is a board that's really meant for resining over the top, I'm going to go ahead and use this big square board, because a lot of Dutch pours are square, but I'm still going to do a center thing. Now, some of these colors felt way too thin. This felt way too thin, almost like water. Too much of the varnish in there. So I'm going to adjust these slightly. I'm looking for the tops to all of my bottles. And I'm going straight to more paint base. We know this has a gel medium in it. I don't know if you guys can see me do this, but I'm going to be adding thickening up the orange, because this was too thin. If I could, I'd stop and put a little gel medium in it, but for the time that we have on the video, I'm just going to add more mix to it. Other colors that felt too thin. This has a nice consistency. This seems a little bit thin to me. This is that lightened Tempted Tulip that we did. I put way too much varnish in there. You know, this is the thing you're going to be doing yourself. You know, are they the right consistency that I need? Because the trick to this is having all the paints be the same consistency. Yeah, this one's good. Okay, so we're going to try this again on a bigger piece. We know what the colors, boy, this piece working is developing next to me and it's turning out really pretty. I hope I can show you guys at the end, so I'm not unhappy with the first one at all. Let's get this centered. Okay, and here's that custom white I made. This is the bear with the GAC 800. Get my knife clean so I can spread this. Yeah, this is a very juicy base. That GAC 800 makes this flow, feels like silk right now. This is flowing really nice with that bear satin white. And again, it's the enamel that you buy at the hardware department to tint. This is not eggshell off the shelf. The eggshell has primers and fast drying agents that messes with your color. The stuff that they tint for your walls, the white enamel does not. That's why I'm using this. It's got a nice coverage. I just think I went a little overboard on the last one, so I just want a nice even coverage. Whoops. I didn't mean to put some color in there, but I guess I could scrape that off. If I was really worrying about it being pristine, which I'm not. Okay. This is experiment for you guys. Okay, now I am going to try something different first. I want to lay some interferences down. So the last time I used that violet, I still have a little bit of it left. That's a lot. I know. And then here's that Tempted Tulip Pink. And then again, I'll be really careful. I'm not going to put as much in here because I know I've got to spread it back out. So that, I think that's the gold. And then here's a tiny bit of that marigold to make Sherry happy. Sorry, I keep using your name, Sherry. Here's another interference. And let's put this turquoise in here. I'm in a spring mood. Can't you guys tell? It's all about spring, baby. Now I'm going to try some of this gold, the one that turned way too Aztec yellow on us, and I mixed up more today. I just want a little bit gold in here. I'm not used to these paints being so juicy. It kind of freaks me out how wet they are. I know, I'm using them all. I ended up using them all, except the apricot. I'm leaving the apricot out, and I'm using that golden maple in place of it, okay? Now, I do have a little tiny bit of a peach cell activator we made with Amsterdam titanium white and my papaya. I've been holding on to this for at least a week. I'm going to drizzle a little bit that over the top. Probably could have put more than that in there, but we'll see how strong this is. And then add my ring. Oops. Add my ring of white. I'm using the spoon because I don't want to pour too much out in one spot. Remember, this is Amsterdam Floetrol mixed with Amsterdam titanium white. So it's liquid gold. But I'm using it as the float over when you blow it in. And I know probably not nearly enough. I'm already judging myself in advance before we even do this. All right, let's get this blow dryer going. Get it on the cool. That cool's pretty high. I'm not real. I love the colors. Absolutely love the colors. But me blowing the cell activator over there is not really giving me much cellage. So I'm going to do the same thing I did here. I don't really want to blow this, but create a little place where I'm adding some cells to my piece. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. It's the same thing for you guys. If you're going to do a Dutch pour and somehow you feel like you need to fix it, right? Oh, you okay, Janelle? She just said she just got a winter storm advisory on her phone. And I'm just taking this little tiny palette knife and kind of running it over the center so we get some kind of pattern. So maybe me blowing it in, I'm being a little bit too timid with that white cell activator. I don't know what you guys think, but I think I'm being a little too timid. Not pouring enough on or not blowing it over enough. There's one section here that looks like it's still got some white cell activator. So this looks more like almost a spin swipe, but I didn't swipe it right. Doesn't exactly look like a Dutch pour. So part of the Dutch pour isn't just the consistency, it's learning how to blow. And so many of us, especially me, we might struggle with that. So I mean, I could come in here and do this and kind of create a pattern. Right? And here's another opening here that looks like an obvious petal. And I hate to mess with this cell activator section, but this looks like that belongs there. And this looks like this kind of belongs there. And I don't know if it's going to make this more interesting. But anything to make my piece more interesting. Oh, you guys. You're pretty good sports watching me do this. I'm loving the color, but, you know, do I just take it and turn it into a spin swipe? Or just accept the fact that, you know, look at, now, this is the point where I'm told that artists should actually take a photo and look at it in a photograph to decide, you know, does this little white come off? Do I shape the leaf like this? You know, do I shape my leaf like that? And add more white, because you've seen people do it. You've seen them shape, especially Rinska. She'll sit and reshape her stuff by putting the white back where she wants it. And so creating these petal patterns, right? So, I mean, it's always an option. But I'm really curious how this is going to dry. Because if I'm on the road of the right consistency, if this all dries beautifully without cracking, and no one color looks like it's drying faster than the other, we'll be okay, right? I'll be able to work on that. That was a lot of paint coming off here. We'll be able to work on the blowing part of it, right? But again, I'm losing my shape and form. I know I can probably hear you guys through the phone. No, don't do it. That's just showing the possibilities of what we can do to fix something, right? See what gravity does for us. All right, now I'm going to look at what everybody's saying. The colors are still just as pretty. What is everybody saying? Let me see what our comments are. Because, I mean, I could turn this into a swipe. I could take different sections and swipe it. It does kind of have a lightning effect in that center. It does. It's kind of interesting. I really want to see how this dries. Now, the one next to me is actually developing, and I'm actually finding this one interesting. Look at this. I am loving what this is doing, and this is that little test piece. You know, there's a reason why Rinska started. It was always on small pieces, because you can control blowing over the paint on an 8-inch or a 10-inch and then blowing it back, right? Where the bigger ones, you're dealing with, you know, an area, a larger area you have to control. So while I don't think my blowing is that exceptional, I'm really, really, really enjoying those colors a lot, guys. And again, if it dries correctly, then I think I'm going to use this as my paint base. So let's get the camera down. Dang it. All this white paint everywhere. I don't like to get that messy. I got to get my gloves off so I can get the camera down and talk to you guys. Okay. Let me get the camera down. It's not horrible, but not bad for my first attempt at a Dutch pour. Again, I'm real concerned about the consistency. If the paint dries really well, I can practice getting the white over and blowing the back out. That's the second phase of this. Yeah, it's true, John, but I want to really clarify this. There's more to the Dutch pour than just the blowing, and there's more to the Dutch pour than just the consistency. You have to find an intersection where they meet and it works for you. And so this was my first test to say, can that bear be mixed with GAC 800 and be a viable flood coat? And can me just adding more varnish to the color get it to the consistency it's going to blow, and I don't have to use water. Because these dry, whoever asked me, I think it was Janelle, these dry beautifully because there's no water in them. So I want to figure out the perfect recipe to do a Dutch pour and not have to add the water if we don't have to. So anyway, those of you that need help with your gift cards, I'm happy to help you guys. You can text me or email me. The lower cards are visible now. Everybody wanted to be able to, like the people on a real tight budget, they're up there. Now, one of my clients said she was really bummed out because even April 5th wasn't far out enough for her. And in one of my broadcasts, I accidentally said I was going to wait till April 15th for the membership drive. So I am officially announcing we're going to wait till the 15th so everybody has a chance to get in. And the $60 entry is there. The 60 for the 100 at the 40% off is there. It's visible. It can be seen. It's up on that page. So everybody can take advantage of this and no one can be left out. Okay. I'll be working on more of these in the next few days because you guys aren't going to see me till Friday. So hopefully on Friday, I'll have about 4 more of these colors to show off of what's coming. And Dee, you're very welcome for saying thank you. I sure appreciate you guys. And I can't believe this is one of the shortest broadcasts. It's only 75 minutes. I'm getting known for going 120 minutes, but we did 2 pieces and there's not really room for me to do a third. So I appreciate you guys. Yeah, you're right about the blow. It isn't just the consistency. It's all about the blow too. So you've got to get both of them nailed. And I'll work on that. I think my paint was actually a little bit too thin. So that tells me next time. Now what I have left in these cups, I can just put straight enamel in and thicken them up. So you don't want to be left behind. Okay, Janelle. Thank you, Priya. And by the way, you guys have a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. Happy post-Easter, everyone. Oh, you like that little round? The round one is so pretty. It's got a lot of pink in that one. That's got a lot of tinted tulip. That's kind of right up your alley, girl. Okay, everybody. Hugs and kisses. Have a great day. Thank you.